What's up, guys? SaltEMike here, coming at you with a week in review. And last week we had to cram 2 weeks into one episode, and I was really rushed, and I actually straight up missed the Ballista Sale for the week's episode, so we'll talk about it a little bit today. But we should be back on schedule and back on track, and we should be able to get more into detail than we did last week. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really, again, I've been appreciating the feedback that you guys have been giving, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying my weeks in review. So starting out like we usually do is, if we have some patch notes, we're going to go over them, and we do this week. 3.6.1 is on the PTU, and you would expect to see an 890 jump or ship rentals, right? Because those are the main features, or the only features coming into 3.6.1. But we don't have those. So what 3.6.1 actually is the 3.6 patch we probably deserved. It's a lot of bug fixes for 3.6. So we're going to jump right into those, but not everything on the internet that you read is true. And jumping right into the patch notes, the meat of it is in the bug fix section. As we spoke earlier, this is mostly a bug fix patch. So the first bug fix that I'd like to talk about is holding left mouse button now properly places boxes. And this is a good one. So there's lots of missions that involved, picking up a box and placing it in your ship, and it now is functioning properly. So that's good. A lot of missions that weren't working now are. Players should no longer experience infinite loading screens. This, for me, is confirmed, and I've seen it on other Twitch streams as well, to be false. This is not a fix that has come into the patch yet. I definitely have experienced infinite loading screens as well as other players. Then there is fixed an issue where mineable asteroids could be detected at much longer ranges than intended. I didn't really have an issue with this. I thought scanning with the Prospector was really great, and now I can't detect with scanning at all. So it basically only finds rocks passively. I didn't find anything on moons with scans. In the asteroid belt, I was able to find them occasionally, but it was not easy, and it was at very short ranges. So I feel like this was some sort of overcorrection or another bug related to this fix. Then there is, players should no longer get stuck on a black screen after death. Well, we don't get stuck on a black screen anymore, but it basically is a black screen with a light. It kind of feels like you're on an operating table of some sort, but you definitely get stuck on some sort of screen after death. So this is confirmed to be true because you're not stuck on a black screen, but you're still stuck. And then there's ships should no longer be missing components. This I can confirm is working well for me. Let me know in the comments below if it's working for you. Secondary quantum travel routes should no longer be obstructed. Again, this is another one that I can confirm is working for me. But a lot of fixes went into this patch, but not everything is fixed. So by the time this video comes out on YouTube, there's a chance maybe we get another patch. And what do you know? A PTU patch came out while we were recording the video. I cannot confirm any of the fixes or additions to it because I literally just got this while we were editing. So the major things that I see here are under known issues, avoid Area 18 for the most part, or if you die, you're going to respawn in midair, so you're going to have to relog if you want to stay kind of spawning there. Ships and vehicles, they temporarily removed the VTOL from the Cutlass, the VTOL animation. Your engines won't point down anymore, the main engines, and this is going to allow you to forward and backward strafe while in hover mode in the Cutlass. So Cutlass owners rejoice. It's going to be a lot easier to fly around on planets again, so good job. And then under bug fixes, hopefully we get these fixes in. As I discussed just a few seconds ago, that some of the patch notes weren't exactly true to form in what we actually got in the build. So the major ones are players should no longer stare at a black screen while attempting to respawn. Let's hope this works. Fixed an issue that caused ship repairs to not work when degradation was present. I actually never saw this, but I'm sure some of you did. Fixed an issue where pro-temp bounties would spawn inside asteroids. For those of you guys that want to be mercenaries in the game, correct me if I'm wrong, but pro-temp bounties are the way to go to get the PvP bounties coming in your mission list. So that's good. And players should no longer get stuck on an infinite loading screen when entering the PU. We'll see, patch notes guy. I don't know. I've seen this one in the patch notes many, many times before, so hopefully that's fixed. And yeah, Go ahead and download that patch and let me know your experiences, I guess, in the comments. And then moving on to roadmap updates. I really only want to discuss the Persistent Universe updates on this channel and in this video series for now, as the Squadron 42 updates, I don't know, they don't really have a lot of meat to them for me. But maybe you guys can let me know in the comments and see if there's anything interesting there that you guys feel is there, and then maybe I can start covering it and kind of know what you guys like about it. But anyway, diving into the PU, there isn't really much to update from it this week, other than that they moved the shield tech improvements from 3.6 to 3.6.1, so we can expect that to be finished by the time we get the actual 0.1 patch. And again, just like last week, small progress was made on both landing zones that are upcoming, and all that really tells me is that maybe server-side OCS is still kind of on target. And then moving on to video content, we had Inside Star Citizen coming back this week. It was a really short episode and kind of one of their gimme episodes where they talk about the ships that came into the new patch. So it's not a ton of information there that we tend to see on Inside Star Citizen, but this kind of gives me a chance to discuss the Ballista Sale a little bit with you guys since I didn't last week. So I'm going to take that time now. You basically got the normal marketing speak in this episode about it. So I'm going to leave that out. We're not really going to do any clips of the Ballista Sale on this show today. But basically it came with two buying options, $120 Warbond and $140 if you want to use some store credit or all store credit. Then you also had the Snowblind skinned option, which was an additional $5 at $125, and they only offered a Warbond purchase for this. And then they also had a package which includes a Ballista, Umbral Ranger, a Cyclone RN, and a Cyclone AA, as well as a tank. And the Umbral Ranger was the TR, the more militaristic one. So basically everything it's kind of military themed. So I don't know, the ship seems pretty great if we have like bases or want to defend some drug labs in the PU, but for now they're kind of just a decently fun thing to mess with, but they seem like a more future addition to the game rather than one that's like super duper needed right now. Also, their range is around 2,000 meters right now, so the weapons test that we saw on Inside Star Citizen, where it was like 9,000 meters, that's actually not possible in the game at the moment. So definitely take what you see there with a grain of salt, since it was just testing. It was in the editor, it wasn't even in the game. And then moving on, they obviously were going to do another 890 jump update, and for this one, we had a little show and tell about kind of the props that are coming into the 890 jump. This ship is huge. It has 68 rooms, and they got to fill it with some cool things for you guys. So we got a good look at those.
We've got some custom assets that we've made for the spa, like these towels and these sandals. Quite a big kitchen set for this. We wanted it to feel like, a professional restaurant is on board. One of the other things we wanted to make to elevate the whole ship to this, classy, high standard is filling it with lots of modern art. So John, who sits just there, he got to make some of these little sculptures here, stuff that hopefully you'd find in a gallery, as well as some large ones here you'll see dotted around the ship. And more traditionally, we've got some paintings that Corey's been working on. He's made these in Substance Designer, and he's got all our signatures sort of thrown on the painting. So though Corey technically made every painting, I think everyone in the team has sort of scanned in their signature to stick on each of the paintings.
Pretty cool. And in the future, this is just something for, like, I don't own an 890 jump, but for all of our ships and even maybe like apartments and things like that long term, I would love to be able to swap things like these paintings and little props out in our locations. I know we can do it kind of in our hangars right now, but not to the scale that we're kind of seeing from this show. So it was pretty cool. And then moving on, we get a melee combat update, which is something that's, this is the initial work on something that we expect far in the future. And it was cool to see. And it was more or less not them showing an update on how it's going to work necessarily, but more on what the challenges that they're facing and the challenges that they're trying to hurdle over to get it to us. And they also said at the end of the episode, or the end of the segment, that we were going to hope to have more updates for us in the future on this. So maybe we'll start to see less of the challenges and more of the kind of how it's going to work. And then, as always, we had a Star Citizen Live, and it was about the props, basically, from the 890 jump, where they did a painting of the 890 jump for our 890 jump. But there wasn't much meat in this episode for a show like this, so I'm going to leave a link in the description as everything that we discuss here. There'll be links for those things in the description. But the only thing that people are kind of losing their minds about from this episode was that they showed a folder where there was Nyx in it.
Just a sec, I'll just set that up for you. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, no, I'm liking this already, actually. It's quite fun. I just got to figure out where the planets live now. Alright, I can't actually remember the full names for the planets, so...
Let's go ahead and pull this window to the right, Corey.
Oh, which window, sorry?
The one you were just in.
Alright, I'm sorry guys, but we've seen folders with other things in them for a very, very long time. I've seen folders with Grimhex racetracks, and we don't have that yet, right? So there's a lot of speculation that the Star Citizen community is doing right now, and I think the only real reason that anybody was doing it was because Lando was visibly upset that they showed that. So that's the only reason we're really speculating about it. I think if they just showed the folder Nyx and nobody said anything about it, there would be some speculation, but it would probably get squashed pretty easily because we've seen so many things like this in the past. So I don't really think it's that big of a deal. I think it's pretty safe to assume CitizenCon's going to be pretty grand. Maybe they show Nyx, maybe they don't. But yeah, I don't really know how big of a deal it was. I prefer to be kind of surprised by CitizenCon anyway, so I'm not really thinking too much into it. And then lastly, the miscellaneous things that we kind of add to the end of the show. There's really only one thing, and it's a thread from Disco Lando on the Star Citizen forums. And it's Luke Presley's joining him on Star Citizen Live this week, as well as I think other members from the mission team to discuss their work in the PU. And I don't know if it's just specifically 3.6 or future stuff, so make sure you go in and ask some questions as well as upvote your favorite ones. So that's really going to leave us here with this episode, guys. I really hope you're enjoying it. Again, like I said earlier, I really appreciate all the feedback that you guys give, good and bad. I know one of the things is we kind of want to add a music track to the episode to kind of fill the silence a little bit. I'm still looking for something like that, so hold tight. And yeah, make sure you like the video if you liked it. Leave a comment below on anything that I shared, especially anything that I missed or anything you'd like me to cover in the future. And make sure you subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.